Hi there, this is Andy Borkowski for Video Game Sophistry, the creator, the proprietor, the voice behind all of these very pretentious videos. And I was looking at some of the numbers going into 2018, and if you would bear with me, I want to try something new. Now here on VGS, we get upwards of 40 to 50,000 views a day. And that is something that we are so very fortunate to have. Me and the other people that contribute to the Dialogue Wheel team or that make some of the more long-form stuff really appreciate you taking the time to view any content that we've created. The thing is, a lot of that content, rightly so, are videos of video games, specific moments, key scenes, and important moments in these games that make them so special. That's how I started this channel so many years ago, and since that time, it's been propelled into a radio show, a bit of a TV show, and now I really want to push content that can provide you an outlet to speak, an opportunity to be heard, and that even extends to if you're a viewer that just wants to see that great Garrus Vakarian scene or that love scene from the latest Mass Effect game. I want to make sure that there's still a place for you here at VGS. So if you would indulge me, this is tentatively our viewing theater. Now, before the video continues of all the moments of silence from Horizon Zero Dawn, the Frozen Wilds, I wanted to set the stage a little bit. This DLC starts just moments before the game is actually about to end. I chose to start to play the DLC at that moment. So as a result, Aloy and Sylens have already had a falling out, and it absolutely affects the narrative and the development in the Frozen Wilds. I really love this because it shows how Guerrilla Games have anticipated all the permutations of what your relationship could be with Sylens. So without further ado, I'm introducing every scene with a little bit of context that you'll get with Sylens from the Frozen Wilds Horizon Zero Dawn. Once that's done, let's take a second to talk about it.
You should really try talking that way to me face to face.
As you wish. Do you really have no idea how monumental are the discoveries you just made, Aloy? I expected more of you. What are you doing, Aloy? This path leads to the cut. The Banuk have nothing to offer besides useless mysticism. The Eclipse won't stand idle while you waste time playing in the snow. Return to your desk.
Surprised you're still checking up on me. I thought you had moved on.
Well, forgive me for still being concerned with the fate of the world.
I was thinking, Banuk shamans thread blue cables through their skin, right? Kind of like someone else we know, huh? So maybe the real reason you want me to stay clear of the Banuk is to stay clear of your past.
It's not the past that concerns me, Aloy. It's the future. Or possible lack thereof. Which is why you should stop prattling and get back to what matters. But as usual, you'll do as you wish.
Touchy. Have you ever heard of a man named Sylens? Tall, deadly serious, cables in his skin, like a shaman?
I've heard that name once or twice, but always whispered, like some boogeyman the Banuk want to forget. I'm not sure what went down, but I got the impression he messed with the Conclave, or they messed with him.
Conclave?
All the most important shamans gather in Banur from time to time to keep up with the latest mumbo-jumbo. No idea how they all fit into one tent without those crazy headdresses getting locked up on each other. Araya's been to that shindig, but when I asked her what it's like, she just gave me a dirty look. So if you want to know more, you'll have to find her and make her like you, I guess. Good luck.
Who are you? And what do you want?
I'm Aloy. Naltuk sent me. He thought that you could use my help.
He was not mistaken. You've been a revelation. Now I know for certain that the spirit endures. Perhaps together we can find a way to set her free.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I came all this way for answers, and so far, I haven't heard any.
It seems to me that you are the answer. But of course, I'll tell you all I can.
Bergren said you might know something about a man named Sylens. That you may have had dealings with him at the Conclave?
When that name is spoken, secrets soon follow. or vanish, as the case may be. Why do you want to know?
He's done some terrible things. But he's also helped me when no one else could. I don't know as much about him as I'd like to.
I would imagine his aid is very powerful, but it will not come without cost. Unfortunately, I am sworn to an oath of secrecy by the Conclave on this matter.
I get that. But you and I are trying to help each other, right?
Yes, but I would be breaking an oath, and that I cannot do.
Now that I'm chieftain of the Werak, I don't suppose I can order you to tell me about Sylens?
Aratak would never have presumed to grasp for a secret of the Conclave, but you are not Aratak, and if you have dealt with Sylens, your need is well apparent. Sylens came to Ban-Ur from the distant north, a young shaman of the Owl's Watch, a remote Werak that rarely comes south to parley.
Sylens was a shaman.
He was. Or at least, when we sent runners to ask the Owl's Watch, they said he was. His knowledge of the machines was beyond compare, and he was hungry to trade what he knew to the rest of us. It didn't take him long to gain the trust of the Conclave, and eventually, an invitation to attend.
What about you? Did you trust him?
No. But he impressed me. He carried himself with poise and authority. I wanted to learn from him, but that was not to be. He was granted knowledge of our most sacred meeting place, the frozen caves of the Malmstrom, a month's march from Ban-Ur. He met with us there, as is custom at high winter. But when we next returned, the caves had been looted. Relics of the old world stolen. Holes cut in ice and metal.
Yeah, that'd be Sylens, all right.
He vanished with the spoils. We sent our best trackers after him. None returned. And when we checked back with the Owl's Watch, those who had vouched for him were gone. As though he never existed. Some in the Conclave began to doubt he was even Banuk to begin with.
And what do you think?
He committed an unforgivable sacrilege. He's unscrupulous and dangerous. But also brilliant, skilled, and knowledgeable without equal. Except, perhaps, for you. Anyone else I would warn off, but you may be able to treat with him safely. Just don't lower your guard.
I'll keep that in mind, Horea. Thanks.
Get me up top, Aratak! Now! I need explosive ammo! Above! Quick!
Great Banukai.
It would seem your time among the Banuk wasn't a waste after all. Firebreak, Cyan, Hephaestus. All very interesting.
So, the signal that woke Hades woke Hephaestus too. And unleashed them on the world. As minds of their own.
So it seems. Parts of Gaia given life. Aberrant life. Transformed from docile subordinate functions into rebellious intelligences beyond our understanding. Our current understanding, anyway. Whatever they are, they're still out there. And they both want you dead.
Kind of mutual, that feeling.
We haven't seen the last of Hephaestus, I'm certain of that. It's powerful, creative, and driven. It won't stop building new hunter-killers, which means that someday, we may have to stop it.
We?
Or whoever gets there first.
Hephaestus wasn't the only thing I learned about in the cut Sylens. Heard some things about the Banuk Conclave, too.
You can stop right there.
Is that what you told the hunters the Banuk sent after you? Before you opened fire?
Oh no, Aloy. Only to you do I extend the courtesy of a warning. My past and my secrets are my own. You do well to remember that.
It's a good thing you've got brains, Sylens, because your personality could use some work.
This discussion is concluded.
I think it was over before it began. Catch up with you down the trail.
Hello, old friend. Remember me? We've still so much to discuss. So much you never revealed. Your masters, for example. The ones who sent the signal that woke you. Knowledge has its rewards, don't you think? Well, let's begin.
It's really exciting for me to see DLCs like this because I think Guerrilla Games has created something that is almost the perfection of the DLC concept. They've taken one thematic note, they've taken a narrative push and created an entire world around it. In the Frozen Wilds, it's about surviving. It's really tangibly about what it's like to continue on and suffer. And with Sylens, we actually got to see a little bit of that now. So right off the bat, Sylens says this is all mysticism, which I think is pretty interesting, considering his perspective and how involved he was in the Banuk culture. And like you saw, we slowly got to see a little bit more and more of what Sylens means for the Horizon Zero Dawn universe. He infiltrated this sect, he got the information he wanted, and he obliterated anyone that got in his way. I think this is fascinating because the story really mimics that of Aloy. They are the hero and the anti-hero going through a similar vein in this new world. They're outcasts in the truest sense. In Aloy's case, she desires a mother and she lives in a universe that fetishizes the notions of having a mother, and as a result, she's an outcast. On the other side, we have what we know of Sylens. He seems to be someone that needs knowledge to the point of pain. And he was able to appreciate that through this mysticism vein, you know, the Banuk and how they see the machines and the reality of this alternate universe doesn't coincide with a scientific approach. So I think his story and his foundation is very similar to Aloy, whereas Aloy and Sylens' stories diverge because Aloy, although she continues that pursuit of finding a mother and a sense of self and trying to figure out what she's doing in this world, she tries to create a better world for her community. And that community grows and grows as you play the game. Whereas Sylens identifies this pain and frailty within himself as what I believe is a weakness that he needs to keep filling up with more knowledge and becoming more atavistic and individualistic. So this DLC, I think, did a really great job of coloring him as a truly ruthless, yet perhaps not sympathetic character, but a character that is not pure atavistic rage. It's something that's a little bit more nuanced and that we can appreciate. I'm very excited for what we're going to see in the next game of where they're going to take Sylens. We got to see it right there at the very last moment. That wasn't from the DLC. That's from the standalone game, that he seems to capture Hades' essence and is now going to create some havoc of his own. Where he'll go from here, I think we're going to be using Scion, never pronounce it correctly, the AI from this DLC in the next game to kind of obliterate, if not change, Sylens' perspective. It's pretty obvious that he is going to be the antagonist for the next title in the Horizon Zero Dawn trope. I hope we stick with Aloy, but if we don't, I'm almost guaranteeing right now that that new AI is going to be involved. And I think they're building a world where Aloy might actually make a choice, a more ruthless choice to join Sylens in his new view of the world versus that of community. They flirted with those themes a little bit in the first one, and I really think that they're going to dive headfirst in the second one. This is the important part. What do you think? I'm doing this right now instead of just showing you the clip because I want to create a dialogue. I see the people that are so passionate about all these games and the moments of them and trying to talk about them, and now you have a lightning rod to bounce ideas off of. Do you think that Sylens has a similar capacity for good that Aloy does, or is this merely a character that's perhaps a little more one-dimensional? I'm giving it too much credit. Where do you think Sylens is going to go in Horizon Zero Dawn 2? It's not going to be that. It's going to have a different subtitle. But where do you think he's going to be? Will he be involved? Will he be the antagonist? I'm very eager to hear. And thank you again for watching anything that we do here and continuing your support. I'm Andy Borkowski for VGS.